This is probably the most challenging record you have ever put on your turntable. Its purpose is to challenge the performance potential of your stereo equipment by providing an amazing array of testing devices for high-level checkout, and at the same time, to present peak musical performances designed for the connoisseur of sound reproduction. Side number 1 of this stereo checkout record contains technical data necessary to enable you to properly adjust and calibrate your stereo system. The tests mentioned herein may be accomplished either orally or with the aid of a suitable rectifier or vacuum tube voltmeter. It is only necessary to connect the terminals of this voltmeter across the terminals of your speakers. The first sound you hear will be a 1,000 cycle tone at 100% modulation on both channels of 40 seconds duration. Set the W, balance your speakers, this word from the 100%. The next series of tones are provided so that you may obtain a frequency response check of your entire stereo system. Do not change the volume control as set with the previous 1,000 cycle tone. Set meter or measuring equipment for a convenient reference reading. Measure 1,000 response. You may obtain a frequency response. So provided additional test run. 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 Provided additional test wherever you are not using a meter test run. Provided additional test wherever you are not using a meter test run. Provided additional tests wherever you are not using a meter. 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 Provided and your case standards. 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 And your case standards on the enclosed graph paper so that a calibration curve can be shown. High cycles, minus 10 decibels on both channels. Listen now to a series of clicks to check the correct phasing of your speakers. The sound should appear to come from the midpoint between your speakers. If it seems to come from behind the speakers, your speakers are out of phase, and the leads to one of your speakers should be reversed, or the phasing control on your preamplifier should be moved to the opposite position. Move to the opposite position. Many harmonics inherent in the piano, we have chosen this speaker locations are in the best possible position in the reproduction of sound frequencies. Therefore, be sure that you are hearing For those audiophiles who suspect, however, that their turntable may be developing a rumble,
That you now turn to the reverse side of this record.
and let us represents not only the attainment of Command records are the result of a concentrated effort by a dedicated group of world-renowned artists and sound scientists, an effort which represents years of painstaking research in all phases of the recording field. Further, the producers of Command records pledge that they will produce only recordings which will contribute to your musical enjoyment and successfully meet your high-quality standards. When you acquire a Command recording, you will have the pleasure of hearing the ultimate in true sound recording, and you can feel assured that your record library has grown in musical stature. The musical selections on this side of your stereo checkout are orchestrated and played in such a way that the listener may determine that his speakers are accurately balanced musically, that his amplifier is giving sufficient power, that his needle is tracking properly, and a myriad of other details that contribute to perfect reproduction. 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 Amplifier system. If the lows come out on each channel sharply and fully, and if the contrasting castanets have their properly strong, intense clacking sound, this section is followed its clacking sound, your 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 clacking sound, piccolo on the left, high 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 piccolo on the left, and
ping-pong gimmickry,
but that the recording would actually reproduce with complete fidelity and realism
the true sound of the piano and orchestra as they sound in the concert hall, right in your living room. The result is this exciting
and quite remarkable recording, which presents a true piano sound against the rich fabric
of an orchestra with a spatial
stirring, stimulating. They can add a steaming and to give a sparkling and persuasive the alto flute. Pay special attention to the alto.